health, why is mental health and mental health services important? Now, as an individual, as an advocate and an individual with experience with those mental health services in our area, I can say that while of course stigma is one of the larger concerns that are at play that needs to be addressed, one just as significant is that people are aware that there are mental health services available. They may not be familiar with what they are, where they are, or how to even start the process. Now, it is important for us in our respective roles in the mental health system to help navigate that process, make it more attainable, more understandable, and make that process a bit more easier for the individual to gain that level of independence for themselves, or find ways to cope and make their living reasonable and manageable while living alongside their diagnosis, which by extension, I feel is important that we help convey to these individuals that they are not defined by their diagnosis. Rather, they are a person with a mental illness rather than a mentally unstable or mentally ill individual. We really want to make sure that just because they have these diagnoses, that they can still live efficiently in their own terms and independently, but in their own right. Yeah, so with the Winnebago County Mental Health Board's half-penny tax, gives me the opportunity to work with a lot of individuals with mental health barriers. And one of the more recent, I'd say significant, that I've been working with was this individual who already had her children in RAMP services through the Youth Education Advocacy Program. But in terms of her position, she was coming out of a situation involving DV and was at that point in transitional housing through remedies. And because of that, was looking for housing opportunities. Now, through working with NIREACH, as well as a number of different resources within the Winnebago County area, we were able to obtain her Section 8 housing that would have been applicable by the end of that month. Now, to add a bit of a corkscrew to that story, what happened was there was a situation in her living condition to where she had to leave more immediately than the expected due date, which sort of set a level of difficulty for us, if you will. But what we were able to do, we were actually able to partner with NAMI of Northern Illinois, and we were able to secure her financing for housing temporarily until that expected date when she received Section 8 housing. Now, ever since I've been able to do that, I've been getting multiple pieces of correspondence from the consumer just saying that she could not be more thankful, and just to see that change in terms of her general mental health from where she was at when I first met her up to the point where we were able to resolve her concerns. It's really night and day, and to have that ability to work with that individual, get to know her as a person, as well as develop that trust with her, it's really created a beautiful and beneficial work experience, and a beneficial one on her end for that part. So another aspect of what I've been able to do in my time is I've been able to partner with the Family Peace Center here in Rockford proper. And the intention of which is, well, to backtrack, the Family Peace Center is a location for individuals who have been exposed to DV or trauma in relation to DV. And there's a number of different agencies that are involved there. There is the Prairie State Legal Service, the City of Rockford itself is there, as well as the Rockford Police Department, as well as a number of other various agencies offering assistance, with RAMP being one of them. Now, what I do in my time there is I offer my hand in assistance if there are individuals who are in need, who are lacking an understanding of resources, or even if just peer support is needed, and to be able to guide them through the process, to help them understand what is available to them, and to help make that process more reasonable and more attainable for them. And at times, that can blossom into a process where we work directly with them through RAMP, or we're able to help them navigate to another agency that might be more beneficial for them. But at its core, the Family Peace Center is an opportunity for agencies within the area, such as RAMP, to interconnect with each other to make sure that these related agencies are aware of each other's services, and by extension create a more impactful and beneficial system in terms of addressing mental health concerns. So in terms of what I can think of in terms of the most impactful thing in my time with RAMP as a mental health advocate, really the thing that comes to mind is it involves a bit of community outreach and partnership. We were able to establish a advocacy committee between RAMP and NAMI of Northern Illinois, the intention of which was to really allow grassroots organizations as well as members of the community the chance to provide insight and input or recommendations as to how to improve on the mental health system. We met with a number of local leaders, whether it was within the county or the state at large, within their respective districts. But ultimately we were able to help influence the Behavioral Advisory Council within the city of Rockford, which is currently in the process of, to a larger level, trying to accomplish what we are trying to do, to implement and strengthen the mental health resources that are available within the system, and to ensure that everyone within the community is represented and accounted for. So my position isn't the only funded position through the Winnebago County Mental Health Board. There are a number within the office that are also funded just like I am. A few of which are the Fast Track program as well as the Youth Education Advocacy program.
Hours, and I'm the Fast Track Coordinator at RAMP. I meet with students at schools in the Winnebago County area, and we work on goals relating to self-advocacy, how to get ready for a job after high school, and how to get ready for college. So Fast Track is a pre-employment program that serves individuals who are 14 through 22. We work on pre-employment skills such as building resumes, cover letters, practicing job applications and interviewing skills. We also talk about self-advocacy, how do you ask for accommodations in the workplace, and talk about post-secondary options as well. Fast Track is really beneficial for students with mental health diagnoses. Not only do we focus heavily on self-advocacy when they're in the workplace, how do they advocate for their different needs relating to their mental health, but we also offer peer support, which is something that RAMP does as a whole. So a lot of our Fast Track advocates are individuals with mental health diagnoses as well, and we're able to offer that peer support to students. We're able to talk about our own experiences, our own coping skills, and how we really navigate the world. We can also provide them with resources and offer them a space where they feel comfortable enough to express themselves and to get familiar with being comfortable with their diagnoses. So Fast Track is a program that serves students with all types of disabilities, and oftentimes we get schools that send us students with autism diagnosis or learning disabilities, but something that we also encourage the schools to look at is students with mental health diagnoses. We saw a huge rise in those types of diagnoses from COVID, and a lot of students are really struggling in school, and this is a really great program to help students understand the accommodations that they can ask for, and how do you search for jobs that might be good for your type of mental health situation. So Fast Track is a great program that can really help support those students in that time. So the Fast Track program is really helpful for students who are dealing with mental health diagnoses. One of the things that we do at RAMP as a whole is peer support, and a lot of our Fast Track advocates have mental health disabilities themselves, and we offer peer support to our students, talking about how we've dealt with situations, or how different coping skills that we have. And we also are able to provide resources for those students who may be struggling, and we really can offer them a place to speak more freely. We are adults that aren't teachers in their lives, so sometimes they find it maybe easier to open up to us and to kind of get more comfortable with their own mental health diagnoses. I've worked with a student this year that has been dealing with multiple mental health diagnoses, and what's really cool about working with them is that they have used their own experience as a tool to kind of shape their future. They're really interested in helping out other people who have dealt with those same things. We've done job exploration in different social work positions and different mental health roles that this person might be interested in, and they're going to actually do a job shadow with a clinical therapist, and that's something that they're interested in going to school in as well. So we've been doing a lot of research for that. I think there's a big stigma with mental health because it is a very personal experience for a lot of people. No two people are going to experience depression or anxiety the same way, and you're in a very vulnerable position when you're in kind of the height of that disorder, and we can combat that stigma by talking about it, by providing peer support, by talking with students at a younger age. We're able to show them that it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to ask for help and ask for the things that you need, and also to be open about, as adults, what we struggle with. It shows them that the trustworthy adults, the successful adults, also struggle with their mental health, and that's all okay.
Hi, my name is Teddy Perzynski. I use they, them pronouns, and I am the youth education advocate for Winnebago County for RAMP. And what that role encompasses is assisting parents with receiving the services such as IEPs and 504s for their students. That can be anywhere from helping them write the request letters if they don't feel confident in being able to create that request to the school. That can be sitting in the meetings with the parents and advocating for the supports and services that their students need. It can also be writing letters to the school on behalf of the parent when the school may not be following the IEP correctly, and trying to figure out a solution for that. And then also there's times where the parents may not understand the IEP. Everybody has to start somewhere. So sometimes it is just sitting down with the parent and just going through the IEP so that they better understand their student's IEP, so that they can themselves become a better advocate for their own student when I'm not able to assist them. So a lot of it is really helping those parents and their students getting all the supports that they need in order to be successful in their schooling. As a youth education advocate, most of my job is working with the parents in order to assist them and their students receive their IEPs, 504s, making sure that those IEPs and 504s are being followed correctly. And a lot of times, it's also making sure that the students are seen as eligible for the supports that they need. So say, for example, a school tries to deny a student an IEP because, well, they're doing great in their education, but they have these social emotional needs. A lot of times I'll have to advocate for saying, yes, and yes, they're doing fine in their education, but they're struggling with these mental, social, and emotional things that are related to their disability, so they need these specific services. I also assist parents with understanding their students' IEPs, so I can sit down with them and go page by page, line by line, explaining what each portion of the IEP means, and giving kind of clarification so that the parent knows. And also sometimes it really is just a benefit to have somebody there to help you, because going into those rooms for those IEP meetings can be extremely stressful and scary, and parents don't know how to advocate, so a lot of times it is just that extra person in the room that is on their side. So I was asked to assist in requesting a functional behavioral assessment for a student who has a behavior of self-inflicting injury by biting when he's triggered. I assisted the mom in writing an IEP review request to the school stating the concerns that the mom had for her son. She tried to request additional support for the student previously, but the school ignored her, as they did not believe the behaviors were as severe as the mom stated they were. Through working with the mom and attending the IEP meeting with the school agreed to start a functional behavioral assessment for the student in order to prepare and create a behavioral intervention plan, as well as added additional supports and accommodations for the student while they were doing the assessment so that he's safer and doesn't have that behavior as frequently. And this is why I wanted to write it down. Following the meeting, I received a text from the parent, and she provided me, and she gave me permission to share this quote. I also wanted to thank you so much for your help. I think the only reason I was able to get a favorable outcome for his IEP meeting was because of your presence in the room. There were 2 additional people in the room that had never been present in the meetings before, and they were the 2 people that did the majority of the talking. It's a sigh of relief for me that my student is finally on his way towards getting the additional support that he needs for his safety. And I feel like that kind of encompasses everything about why I enjoy my job and why that position is so necessary, because these students with their needs, the school needs to be held accountable. And it really does help to have that extra body in the room to know that the schools are being held accountable, that the parents feel more confident, and that because of my knowledge and my ability to advocate for these students, they are getting the support that they need. I have been in so many meetings that the parents, as soon as we leave the room, they say, oh my gosh, I've never had a more successful IEP meeting. I thought that they were going to take away all the support, and instead they added more. And that is really impactful for the families and for myself.